Just proud of my guys. The way that we bounced back from yesterday's game where it was so one-sided. Needed a huge performance on the mound, and Doug gave us that. I think he would admit maybe not his sharpest day with all his pitches, but just a really gutsy performance. And what those that have watched him pitch all year have seen, that's why he's so good. There's days where maybe he's not as sharp stuff-wise, but always able to make a pitch and get off the field, and he did that today. But today, really the story. It's amazing. Usually on Doug Day, we talk about Doug, but it was really the offense. Starting with Zebo, huge home run after they got two in the first. I thought that was big, and then we were able to continue to extend it with homers. Big homer by Coop and Keenan, and then of course Gray at the end.
All right, raise your hand, and we'll get a mic to you for questions for the student athletes. Parrish.
Hey, Doug, I wasn't around for this, and maybe this is a rumor, but supposedly there was you and a conversation with some Arkansas fans, kids, before the game that ended with you walking away saying, I got to go get ready to beat you guys. Did that happen, and could you talk about that?
Yeah, just really playful. There was a couple kids down on the side. I always make my rounds during BP. I'll go walk over to Caleb and Gunner, who are on bucket, and I always just make my rounds. And there were some kids that they were having a good time, just kind of playing around, and they were kind of giving me a hard time. And then it was getting towards the end of BP, and I just said, all right, time to go beat some hogs. Here we go.
Run homer, and kind of what did you see in that at bat?
Yeah, the pitch was a changeup, and the pitch before it was also a changeup. But with a guy like Noland, he likes to throw the changeup, likes to throw the breaker. So I was just trying to see him up in the zone and get a good pitch to hit.
Cole, what's Houston meant to you guys like really the last month, and today he got through the top of their order and really kind of saved your bullpen a little bit?
Houston Roth is big time. He's really come on. He's making pitches when we need it and coming in clutch situations and getting it done.
I mean, for both of you guys, actually, what's your kind of mindset when you get to the ballpark and you look up at the flag and you see the wind blowing out for you as a hitter and for Doug on the mound?
Yeah, you want to go first?
Yeah. It's just keep the ball low, focus on really making pitches, and then trying to extend it when I get ahead in the count, because you can make some mistakes and then just get lofty fly balls because you're trying to go up in the zone, and you'll get some guys to pop up, and then those balls will float out. So it's mostly just working lower in the zone.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same. I'm just trying to hit the ball hard. The good part about the wind blowing out is if you miss it a little bit, it can still go.
For both players, Gray mentioned yesterday how y'all play y'all's best with your backs against the wall. I think you're like 5-0 in your last 5 elimination games. What is it about this team that allows y'all to keep coming back and coming back?
I think it comes from the challenges that we face throughout the season, and it just kind of puts us in that, when we get in that situation, we're able to handle it because we've been through it, and we have experience there.
Yeah, building off what Zebo said, I think we perform best when kind of like the mantra to this whole postseason is like we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, and we have to make sure that we do our jobs today, and we can't look past today. And that's kind of what kept us on our toes, and I think that we were never really comfortable. Not to say we weren't comfortable, but we weren't ever content with what was going on, and we were always trying to make sure that we really poured it on them.
Both guys with the Game 3 tomorrow, you guys jumped on them today. The Razorbacks, they kind of got y'all yesterday. What can we expect? A lot of offense, or what are you guys thinking? Both guys, please.
I bet a good baseball game. We're two really good teams, and we've seen that the past 2 days. We can both hit, we can both pitch, and we can both field. So tomorrow I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, both the teams are going to be on their toes. They're going to be really trying. They're going to be giving it their all, and everyone's trying to get to Omaha. So I expect the game to be a really good game, and I expect it to be just something that's going to be really special.
You got out of that third inning with the bases loaded there?
When the bases got loaded, I just it's better because now I know that they can't really score off anything unless they really get a hit. So like that bunt that he did to get the bases loaded, it was like, all right, but now I can go from the windup. I can get kind of into a rhythm. And when I had that long at bat with Kerstad, he was just really, really good hitter, so much bat control, and he was just kind of poking everything. And then eventually we just decided to trying to throw that ball a little bit off and see if he'll try and hack at it, and the ball kind of cut back over onto the plate and got that corner. And then the next guy after that, it was just once the momentum was back on our side, then I just threw a changeup to get him to pop out.
Yeah, I guess for both you guys, I assume Gunner's going to go tomorrow. What do you feel? I mean, how do you feel about him going in a winner-take-all game?
We have a lot of confidence in Gunner. He's been there all year, and he's a big-time player. He's going to be able to make pitches and get the job done.
Yeah, like Zebo said, I think he's become a guy that lives for these moments at this point, and I think he's going to really rise to the occasion, and he's going to just be stellar for us, give us a lot of good innings, and get the win.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Gentlemen, thank you. All right, same thing for Coach Bianco. Raise your hand. We'll get a mic too. Right here.
Offense is kind of the story today, but Houston on a day where the ball's flying out gives you guys 4 scoreless. It kind of helps preserve the pen. Just what do you think of his outing today?
Thought he was really sharp today, and as you know, Brian, he's pitched really well down the stretch for us, and but that's as good as I've seen him against a really good offense, and just a good mix, with the fastball and breaking ball, and a handful of changeups, fastball on both sides. He was really sharp today.
Proud of your guys for just keeping swinging there once they cut it 8-5, and you didn't kind of settle, got the big hit.
Yeah, we scored 8 early, and then they put some zeros up. But I don't think we had a bad approach. I don't think we had bad at bats. It's just, let's face it, they're really good, and you can't score every inning. But glad that we stayed locked in the whole game, because you need to. I think Doug said it. This is it. You win, you keep moving on. You lose, you go home. They know that. They don't need to be reminded that. But I was proud of the way we continued to swing throughout the game.
Mike, you've had a lot of teams that are good in elimination games, but what is about this one? Is anything surprise you as far as how
you keep
good
asking that question? I don't know if I can give you that quote that's going to make your story. I just know they're. I will say, one of the I think is a huge factor in it is when they don't look nervous. They look if you were in the dugout, they look like a team that's won 4 in a row or 5 in a row. They don't somewhere along the line, and we talked about it somewhere in the SEC tournament. We kind of found that, and maybe in the most pressure packed parts of the game, they do play loose, and they do play with a lot of confidence.
Mike, when you guys fall behind yesterday and you decide to preserve Houston and Austin and Parker and all those guys, is this kind of the position you were envisioning to have just most of your bullpen available going into the game tomorrow?
Well, and part of it was to get Myers off the field and so he would be available in Game 3. It's just how it turned out, and it's really the game just got too extended to where you got to win 2 of these, and it didn't look good in Game 1. So Chofie was a big factor in that, to be able to put some zeros up at the end, and really let it get not too embarrassing for us. But now you go into Game 3 with Miller haven't pitched yet, and of course Gracie, but Cronin hasn't pitched for them either, and they got a bunch of guys that haven't thrown over there either. So it should make for a real good game tomorrow.
Yeah, Coach, I know I guess Gunner pitched against Arkansas and Wicklander pitched against y'all, but not in the same game. What are your thoughts on Gunner and Wicklander?
Well, obviously, what the guy said about Gunner. He's pitched just about every Game 3 for us, almost the whole year, and really, as you've seen in this league, some of those freshmen kind of get better as the year goes on, and he certainly has been that guy. His last 3 or 4 outings, he's been terrific for us, and so we feel probably like they do, and I think Wicklander's like probably similar to where he's come on at the end of the year and really solidified I think their rotation, and so probably both scenarios for both of those guys.
You mentioned finding something at the SEC tournament. What's your approach and philosophy about that tournament? And, some coaches want to stay out of the heat and not, overextend.
Well, we had no choice to stay out of the heat. We played at 1 o'clock every day except for one. I think we played at 9:30. So no choice of that. I get it. You don't want to I'm not worried about the heat. I mean, you get a week before the regional, and at the end of the day, they're 18 to 22-year-old guys. They should be able to handle the heat a little bit. I think the thing that people talk about is the arms, and you got to be careful with that because the tournament can get long, especially for a team like us that started on Tuesday. But at the end of the day, it's an SEC championship, and we won it a couple years ago, and we know how special that is not only for the players and the team and the program, but for the fans. And so, I guess you ask the approach. The approach, I think, is to go win it.
Any more questions for Coach Bianco? Coach, thank you.
Thank you.